Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 71 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I'm joined by the most delicious hosts there could ever possibly be. That's right, it's Cool Whip McPie Crust.
Ooh, that does pretty adequately explain both my complexion and how dry my skin is right now.
All right, I thought about doing a bit at the beginning of the show, and I want to try it real quick with you. And we haven't planned this.
No, we haven't. So, I don't even know what you're planning, so I'm excited.
I just want to just bear with me for a minute. All right.
Okay.
Now just imagine that there's like cool like 80s music going on in the background. All right, like it's really cool. Okay,
right, that's my resting state. Got it.
There's probably a fog machine happening somewhere. Okay, I'll splice some music in. I'll set the mood. It'll be great.
Okay.
So welcome everybody to the 40k Badcast episode 71. I'm your host Grip, and that's your host Rip. We're gripping and ripping.
Yeah, dude, I am so gripped right now. Oh, I'm joking.
All right, that was really stupid.
That was good, though. That was good.
Okay.
I'm glad this episode can have not one, but two introductions, so listeners can kind of choose their own adventure with this one.
Yeah. Is this the adventure that they have to return to the beginning of the book because they died?
The problem is this is a linear medium, so they're just going to keep dying over and over again, like that Tom Cruise movie. Which, with the original thing was like it's based on a manga called All You Need Is Kill, which is a way better title than any film Hollywood has ever created.
Yeah, I like that film.
It's a good one.
I don't usually like Tom Cruise films because I don't usually like Tom Cruise, but that film was good. Yeah, so that alternate opening kind of hurt my throat. Better not do that anymore this episode. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the aspects where we talk about what's on our hobby radar. We're going to start with a little bit of hobby progress. So I finished my Phobos Lieutenant that I had started. I finished it like right after we recorded too, because it feels like I finished it 2 weeks ago and we recorded 2 weeks ago. So I'm starting to put the 2s and the 3s and making 5s in my head.
I mean, more credit to you for being able to track linear time right now. So good on you.
Well, you know what? It's actually pretty easy for me because I produce daily podcasts for my work. And so the hosts of those podcasts say the day every day.
Oh, that's really nice. My only sort of marker here right now are GW's online previews. Without those, I would have no idea what month it even is right now.
It's April still, I think. Yeah, April.
I thought we were still in Smarch.
April Abenderos. Wait,
yeah,
that's Spanish. That's not I don't know how to say two in Italian. It's probably dos.
It's probably
could look it up, but I won't. I'm choosing to stay ignorant. Okay. So I finished my Phobos Lieutenant. There's a couple cool things on that model. I like his dual combat blades. I like the little Darth Vader panel he has on his chest. So I've kind of decided that name scrolls, I'm going to write out names for people, right?
Okay.
But then some models have these like name plates on them almost.
Yeah, it looks like it's a metal plate usually on a shoulder pad or something.
So I've decided how I'm going to treat these forevermore. And I'm going to put little tiny squiggles of black on them to mimic tiny writing.
I would probably go with little tiny things of like really dark brown rather than black, but I get where you're coming from, and I don't think it's a bad idea.
Instead of trying to put the names on those, because I'm doing them in the darker bolt gun color. So
okay, I always do them in gold. So sorry, that's what I'm working with.
I don't really use gold ever. Well, I do. I'll do like little tiny pieces of gold on my Marines.
Yeah,
but I feel like if any Codex compliant chapter is not going to be blinged out to the max, it's going to be the Raven Guard.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Right. So, all right. So finish that guy. And I am actually almost done with a squad of Eliminators.
Hell yeah.
The Primaris Snipey Boys.
Are they sniper rifles or laser boys?
They are sniper rifles. The Raven Guard chapter tactic leans very heavily towards sniping. So I am taking that and running with it Yeah, these guys are great. They're actually going a lot quicker than my first group of these went. These, of course, aren't the Shadow Spear models, but are the individual box models. The models are better. The poses are better. There aren't any giant lines in the middle of the cloaks, or gaps, rather.
Real nice.
So I'm really enjoying these. I just finished doing the washes and shading today, and I'm going to be getting into highlights coming up soon, next couple of days. Mm-hmm. And so the camo actually went pretty quickly, which was a surprise because it took forever with the other camo cloaks I have done. So
a different technique or just your practice now?
Same technique. I think I'm just into it, just practicing. I was also helping myself by watching the fashion competition reality show, Making the Cut on Amazon Prime.
It's an unexpected plug from the 40k Badcast, but keep working with it.
We're gonna go back to that later in the show, so get excited, listeners. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, just some Raven Guard stuff. After this, I have primed my final 4 Baja Blasters. I'm gonna get to them so I can, put the check mark behind that entire project. Mm-hmm. And then actually, I might do another character after these 3.
Oh my God. If it wasn't such a heinous means of transporting them, I really wish you could bring them around in just a Mondo Taco Bell cup, like one of those 64-ounce bladder busters sort of Taco Bell cups.
I could get, this is an idea.
Okay.
I could get one of those like 12 taco boxes.
Yeah, not bad.
And cut some foam to fit it.
That's not bad. That's probably a bit more doable than my initial idea here, which was to get that giant Taco Bell cup and either, one, just carry them in it loose and just shake them out every time, which is great, especially with famously durable models, elves. Mm-hmm. Or if you're feeling a bit more handy, you could cut the cup in half, you could hinge it, and you could very meticulously custom cut some foam to go inside that way. But I have a gut feeling the model storage options for Taco Bell takeout cups are not great.
Yeah, well,
though you could transport your army in the cup holder of your car, provided it is an American enough size cup holder.
Oh no, those cups don't fit in my poor Subaru.
Then you gotta seatbelt them in.
You gotta hold them on your knee. Drive with one hand. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to right now. I thought I was just about to say I might do a character after these 3 because I don't know. Painting one model is fun.
It's very fun. Which is most of what I've been doing.
Okay, on to you. Hobby progress.
All right, so I finished the 5 veteran intercessors I was working on last time. And I used the wrong red to highlight their guns, but who really gives a shit?
Did you post them to Twitter?
I did post them to Twitter.
I'm going to look them up while you talk.
Yep. The problem is that's kind of the cutoff for things I've posted to Twitter since then, because I only feel like doing photo setups every so often because I have a cat who gets in the way, and waiting until she's nice and docile is not always gonna happen.
No,
she's right now sitting on my laptop. So if at any point I suddenly cut out and you hear nothing at all except for either static or screaming, then it's probably her fault.
I'm sorry. I got to some of your other models you've posted on Twitter and they look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I finally got around to posting all things I said I posted last time.
Oh, you're so bad at this.
I'm really bad at this. I'm never happy with the photos I take. So I'm not super enthused about getting pictures taken.
Get a new phone.
I know. I don't. It's not the phone's problem, it's the lighting, because I have an iPhone X and that has an actual decent camera in it, but I'm just bad at things.
These bolters look good.
Thank you.
I don't know why you're fucking complaining over here.
Because I highlighted them with Wild Rider Red. Oh, I'm sorry, with Evil Sun Scarlet instead of Wild Rider Red. So 5 bolters out of fucking like 50 are the wrong shade, highlighted the wrong shade of red. So I don't really give a shit. I just did it wrong.
You fucking imbecile.
They're fucking next to each other in my painting box, and I do not remember which one I did because it's been a while since I painted Ultramarines.
So here's a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Where's the Thunderhammer?
Oh, he's in the first half of the squad.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm doing the 10-man veteran squad.
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I started that project in November.
Yeah.
Anywho, after them, I painted Ragnar Gunstein, and I painted in all 3 of his ammo boxes. The model was a lot busier than I first anticipated, and you won't hear me say this often, but I think I actually went too colorful with the paint scheme. because I'm like, I'm gonna kind of go for a Gotrek sort of look with him, with blue striped pants and orange mohawk and everything. And there's so much shit on this fucking dude.
Yeah,
I love the model, I really do, but I kind of wish I toned it back a little bit.
I'm liking all your posts.
Thank you. About time someone did.
And you're gonna get some notifications.
Hell yeah, 4 notifications coming at me live. And
talk about your Necromunda stuff so I can compliment it. Your Goliath stuff.
Oh, I finished that like weeks ago, man.
But just talk about it again so I can compliment it.
Okay. Let me go to my own fucking Twitter account so I can remember what I painted.
How about this? I can tell you because I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Your Goliath Forgeborn.
Yes.
Look fantastic. I love how much pink you're using on them.
I think it's just a really fun spot color since they're wearing so much yellow armor.
Yep.
That going for that kind of purpley pink is just always going to be a good way to complement it. And also, it's kind of funny to me. You have like the biggest, buffest dudes, and their gang colors are hot pink and yellow. I really like that sort of look.
So, I'd seen Mungo Meatfist, but I hadn't seen your Stimmers, who also have a lot of pink on them. I love the pink. So, when are you going to start adding pink to your Goliaths, your other Goliaths, the ones you've already finished?
Oh, they all have pink mohawks.
Do they really?
Yeah, every single dude who has a mohawk has a pink mohawk.
Oh shit!
And when they have like,
fuck me.
Yeah, I already did. Yeah, I just Ozymandias did you. I already painted them pink 35 minutes ago, 35 months ago at this point, I guess. But they all the pipes and the stim injectors are always pink. Even my Sumpcroc has the pink stim injector pipes on it. If you scroll back far enough.
Nice. I have left Twitter, so it is.
It's okay.
It's over.
We all should.
Well, I mean, I closed the Twitter window. I didn't leave Twitter. I don't think I could at this point.
Yep. Yes to both, though. Anyway, after I finished Ragnar Gunstein, I painted the Dome Runner, and while she was fiddly as hell to put together, she was pretty fun to paint and pretty fun to paint. Yeah, that's how low we're sinking into like just off mispronunciations in accent work. That's some primo comedy right there. I painted her just to kind of look like she's running around blue jeans and a t-shirt. It's a very sort of John McClane sort of look with the skull mask too.
Okay.
So it was kind of fun to do something a bit more grounded.
Love John McClane.
Too. Yeah, that's the whole point.
It's one of my favorite films, Die Hard.
I wish it wasn't trite to say it was my favorite Christmas movie anymore, but really Jingle All the Way is my favorite Christmas movie. Don't get at me.
I love Die Hard, man. I watch it every Christmas.
You should. Yeah.
A lot of people get really upset about that whole argument. And you know what my response to that is?
Fuck you.
It's Christmas, man. Just live and let live.
This is true. The only thing
April 22nd, 40k Christmas craft.
Yeah, that's our Christmas in April special coming at you.
There you go.
The only thing I don't like about the Dome Runner really is the rat hanging off her back. It just seems kind of tacked on. It's not really tied into the design at all. It's even like attaches with this resin knot that just kind of sticks on, but whatever, I painted it. It's fine.
I'm trying to think of pack rat jokes. Backpack rat? Is that anything?
Don't think too hard, Dan. You're going to hurt yourself.
Is that anything?
Not really. It's kind
rat
of
pack.
It's more of a waist rat. You're kind of wearing a rat around your waist, as was the style at the time. Now, the problem is...
Fanny pack rat?
All right, you're getting a little closer, although that is offensive in the United Kingdom.
Why?
The word fanny, they don't like that word there. It means it's a bad one there.
What does it mean?
I think it's this term for... Oh, fuck, now I have to say it. Or now I have to Google it and say it. It's a vulgar Britain for sexual intercourse with a woman or women viewed as sexual objects, which is shit I am not into. Well, the second part. The first part's fine.
I just thought it was like a very, very low-key slang word. Like low-key as in like it's just a way if you don't want to say butt, you say fanny instead.
Yeah, you do. And need I remind you that we are an extremely American podcast?
All right. Well, I was just going to say I'm still going to say fanny because I don't give a shit. But I never say fanny.
Well, that's okay. You're not in England. You're in anti-England, which is Virginia. So anyway.
Is it anti-England?
I mean, I guess Massachusetts really is anti-England since we did the whole Tea Party thing.
I mean, Virginia is named after a queen. The Virgin Queen. Queen Mary, I want to say. I don't know.
Losing the fucking plot.
Though I think she was considered a virgin mainly because she was extremely ugly. And like the whole virgin queen was like a spin. It was a left-handed compliment, if you will.
Now it'd be called Valselia.
I don't. You know what? I'm not a. I don't fucking know anything about history. Hey, Virginia historians, write in and tell us how we're doing.
I can think a few times we've lost the plot harder, and I'm just gonna pivot us back here into
lead us back to the promised land.
I think it's on my way there. I'm gonna fucking trip all over myself because I have had not one, not two, but 3 hobby spills in the last 2 weeks.
What happened?
I tried to open a bottle of Bealtan Green, and I fumbled it, and it spilled all over my desk and my hands.
Ugh.
Not happy about that. Then had the exact same thing happen with a pot of Mornfang Brown.
Okay.
So now my sink is stained brown. I need to actually scrub that thing to get it clean.
Okay.
And worst of all, I was in the process of building a squad of intercessors.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to build 5 of them. I had like 1 left over from just building rare kit. I had Sergeant Joven, and I bought the easy to build 3-pack just so I could make a 5-man squad.
Yeah.
And I had a plastic glue spill.
Ooh.
And I lost about...
Wait a second. How... Don't you have the Model Master plastic glue that literally everybody has?
I have the Tamiya Extra Thin because that's the kind that my friendly local game store was selling, which comes in this little square block bottle, which is usually fine. The problem is I'm just fumbling and bumbling and clumsy as hell, so I spilled half of it onto my desk.
Yikes.
Now, in the process of doing so, I scoured all the lines off a good chunk of my cutting mat. Because
it's testers, not Tamiya Model Master. Testers.
Okay.
Master.
But yeah, so it scoured that off, but also it spilled onto the 5th member of the squad, rendering him into Meltman. So now I have one dude who is good for maybe some terrain somewhere. And in the process of trying to save him, I ended up losing one of his shins. I think it might have gone down a drain or something. So that's gone forever.
You really beefed it, didn't you there, fella?
I mean, here's the thing. If I was doing that with like Gilliman or Calgar, I would have really beefed it. If I'm going to beef it on one model, I'd rather be Intercessor number 35.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap.
They're pretty replaceable. Dylan's going to give me a spare one of his when, we can leave houses again. So right now I'm working through the 4 surviving Intercessors, and I'm about halfway through them.
Very, very nice. Sorry if I'm a little far away from the mic at the moment, but a cat crawled up onto me, so I gotta...
Oh, cool.
Now I gotta accommodate her.
You do. They're a cat. They demand lap time.
Yes. Okay. Well, that sounds terrible, Campbell. I'm very sorry that you had to deal with that in your life.
I gassed half my house with plastic glue.
At least you didn't spill any Nuln Oil.
That's fair. And also, if I spilled super glue, there would be a dead Space Marine permanently affixed to my desk right now, and that would be markedly worse.
There'd be a dead Campbell permanently affixed to your desk right now. It's just a mummified husk of Campbell. Oh, I guess you wouldn't be mummified yet. You'd still be pretty.
I'd just
pretty
be
fresh.
I'd be a little desiccated.
Yeah, maybe.
Any whomst. You play any games?
You might be a maggot farm at this moment. Games played. I have in my notes. It says LOL.
See, I actually have 2 notes in mine. Well, my dad called me to tell me how cool Tabletop Simulator is. And how there's even board games he designed on there that people have put up, which is kind of cool. But he also found there is a module out there for Battle Masters, which is a game that he and I that's one of my entry points into miniature wargaming. And he and I have still played that even in my adult life once in a while because it's just such a fun game. But yeah, there's a module for that on there somewhere. And he got a headset, and he's very excited that when you plug in the headset, sound doesn't come out of the speakers anymore. It just comes in through the headset. So, I love my dad very much, but he's still a man in his 60s.
Yeah, my dad calls me every day now because he's
a nightmare.
He's very bored.
My dad's I hate talking on the phone. Every time I call him, he just talks for about half an hour about the things he's excited about. And I'm just happy he's excited about things.
That's good. That's the 40k Badcast.
We're having it.
My dad's been doing a lot of bird watching.
My dad's been playing Tabletop Simulator with a bunch of his dad gamer friends. I'm very happy for him.
It sounds like our dads are doing well.
I think they're doing better than we are.
All right, let's move on to new stuff because I didn't play any games either.
Yeah.
Okay. New stuff. Let's start. So we recorded right after the second online preview last time. And so there was a week in between the third online preview. And in that week, they released a new Necromunda Underhive Informer. And they put out some pictures of some new models there. Let's just go through them. Why don't we? Yeah. So we've got the Rogue Doc.
Yep, she looks just like the art in the House of Chains book.
Yeah, so what do you think? You like this model?
Okay, at first I thought her pants were really huge. Like, it looked kind of like she was wearing MC Hammer pants. But it's
not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. But then you look down and see it's supposed to be an unzipped hazmat suit, which makes a little more sense for why it's so baggy, especially around the waist.
Yeah.
But I think the belly shirt is a little silly.
Yeah.
But I have painted enough shirtless dudes for Necromunda, and it's not like she's necessarily like a practicing physician in their uniform. So it's kind of whatever.
She is a rogue doc.
She's a rogue doc, which does mean she has the rogue doc crop top.
She doesn't play by the rules. Dr. Midriff doesn't play by the rules.
But I like her bionic arm. I like her little stim injector thing. I think she's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I like some parts of her outfit. I don't like others. Not a huge fan of the crop top, but whatever. It's Necromunda. Who cares? And I don't like her tactical heels very much.
Oh, is she wearing tactical heels?
She's got some heels.
Oh, I did not know that. I mean,
Dr. Midriff is not sacrificing form for functionality.
No, but she is wearing a face mask, so she's at least she's doing the right thing for this day and age.
Right. She's adhering to social distancing and using PPEs.
After that, we have the Gang Lookout, who again looks just like the art. And I like this model a lot. It's a very kind of low key sort of model, but like the pose is pretty simple, but it tells a story. The equipment tells a story. He looks kind of like something from like a 70s sci-fi sort of design, sort of like a Ralph McQuarrie's Star Wars concept art, or like a low-key Mobius sort of design. Yeah. He's kind of Dune-esque. Yep. I really like this dude.
Yeah, me too. I think he's the perfect generic 40k guy. Mm-hmm. Like, you can use him as a model to represent just whatever generic human you need. And I think that's a really cool thing.
I also like that the axe on his hip has a little like leather axe holster. Like, that's just a nice attention to detail sort of thing next to his little ColecoVision controller hanging off his waist.
Yeah, it's really cool how they're taking these models directly from the art. I think that's a really nice touch. And I mean, the art for Necromunda has been just great all around for the most part. There is this like crazy-eyed motherfucker who's like a Goliath ganger that I really want somebody to make into a model.
Oh, is it the dude? He's like hunched over a bolter, really weird, and it's up close to his face. He's got this like grin on his face and these like black tattoos over his eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy rules.
Yeah, I would like to see that one made into a model, but I think they're doing a great job. I really like the lookout. Again, I think there's some nice parts for the Rogue Doc and some kind of gratuitous parts, but it's a fucking miniature game, bud. You're going to get some of that every now and then. So here's the thing.
Yep.
They showed a picture of a Escher matriarch.
Right.
Which I think is...
I think they're the new champions.
Or leaders. Doesn't matter. It's new Escher character with some new weapons. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's a new body or not.
It is. That sort of like spiked bra top sort of thing is a new thing.
Spiked tube top.
Well,
it's tactical tube top.
Is a tactical tube top as opposed to a medical grade crop top.
So this model looks cool. I love the servo claw that she's wielding. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of her pose as she's like running forward over, but she has a sawed-off shotgun,
which are garbage.
They're terrible. One. But it's bigger than her torso.
It's a Doom 2 super shotgun, man.
It's enormous, like to the point where it's stupid. Like, a sawed-off shotgun is supposed to be small and so you can hide it.
Yeah,
and then like whip it out real fast and blast somebody with an indiscriminate spray of pellets. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to be a fucking skateboard sized like boom tube. Well, you know what I mean?
Oh, first of all, skateboard sized boom tube. That's my favorite ska band. Second of all, the problem with a sawed off shotgun is that it's smaller, so it's less accurate. So if you get a bigger shotgun, then saw that off, it removes those problems.
if you get a shotgun made for a Primarch.
I think, you know what? I think it's fine. I think it means it'll read from tabletop. Is it enormous? Yes, it is. Is every guardsman's bolt pistol bigger than his torso also? Yes.
Yeah, but
should it be smaller?
No.
Yes.
You're comparing it to models made in the fucking mid-90s. We can do better nowadays.
I will say it does look a little massive compared to her servo claw being much smaller than it, but let's wind it back aside from just the fact that some of these weapons look really big. The other weapons in that little set of renders they showed off looks pretty cool. Although Peter was very upset that the axe with that sort of grip would be really unsafe to actually use, which is of course he would know,
safety,
being the trail man he is. But
safety is very important in the under eye.
Exactly. But I was kind of hoping the Escher character look like this one would be kind of closer to Kriya the Huntress, where they get a bit more glam almost. Like there's more, big hair, big feathers, big headdresses, as opposed to just kind of looking more stripped down. And
she honestly looks a little Orlocky with her cut off leather jacket.
Yeah, it's more of a Mad Max look, which again, dope. I love that aesthetic, but I thought they'd be a bit more glammed up for the sort of Escher matriarch sort of look, where they'd be a bit more, visually impressive and standing out on the tabletop. Again, we've only seen one model from what is probably a series of models, so we'll see what else is going to be happening. But I think it's cool, which is not quite what I had in mind.
Okay, let's move on to the online preview number 3 from Games Workshop. Now, before we go on, Campbell should mention that we did write about this over at goonhammer.com. And
in an article that's made a lot of people very mad.
Yeah, people didn't like our stupid jokes. So, I mean,
fuck 'em.
Whatever. That's fine. It's a joke. It's a joke post on a joke of a website. Whoa.
Got him.
All right. So go over there, goonhammer.com. It's called Your Preview Sucks, is it? Okay, Your Preview Sucks, where me and you and Rob and Greg and Alice all go off on some bullshit. It's great. So, first things first, new giants or gargants or whatever in AOS. They're real big models, bud.
Yeah, they're basically the knight equivalents for AOS.
I think they're taller than knights, but I could be wrong.
Very possible.
Yeah, those big fucking models. Good luck storing those, AOS players. The Blackstone Fortress finale is coming up.
Yeah, Ascension, the final quest, which has bigger spindle drones. Which
bigger drones.
I'm not really that excited about. It's cool to see new alien things, but it's just kind of those things never excited me that much.
I think the exciting part of Blackstone Fortress is really the different sort of missions and stuff you can do.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the people that are really into it are going to enjoy it immensely. I'd love to play it, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, not right now. I mean, I could build my set and play alone, but I just haven't got around to doing that because that's a little sadder than I care to be right now.
So they're releasing Dark Elves in Warcry.
Yeah, the K-Knight Shadow Stalkers.
They are very dark elfy.
Yeah,
which,
and they're very...
it's a good aesthetic. I'm not going to complain too much. They look cool. Again, more cool Warcry models.
Yep. It's very cool to see modern dark elves that aren't just daughters of Cain. It's also cool to see them kind of build on the Mistweaver Say and Tenebrial Shard models from Warhammer Quest Silver Tower, I think it was.
Yep.
It always seemed kind of like a cool direction to go, and so I'm glad they're doing that. Dig the models. Looking forward to seeing the rest of them.
There was another garbage high elf model.
How do you pronounce this? Because I have it as Scintillating Catheter.
I don't know, because I saw the model and it immediately slid right off my brain.
I think it's, well, the Scintillating Catheter feels like they kind of accidentally dropped it during the middle of that stream, and she's like a Lumineth character who makes people so sad that they die, which I super dig. And she has like a sort of a funeral veil on her. She's standing at a very awkward angle.
Yep.
And she has a lot of crap dangling off her.
A lot of crap. She's got this big honking goblet that looks to be full of coals.
It's full of magic.
And it's just big and honking and looks dumb. Though she is barefoot, so
this one's for the dogs.
Yeah, getting some of them toes in there, baby.
All 10 of those toesy woesies. Although, I mean, again, this is a very feet heavy stream, as we get to in that Goonhammer article. I will say the one cool thing is she does remind me of the old lore that the lady in Bretonia was actually the elven goddess of prophecy, Lilith. And it's kind of like she kind of is echoing that with sort of her general look and the goblet and all that stuff. I might be extrapolating that from what I sort of understand, but I think it's kind of cool. Don't love her, but
I liked that idea when it was Bretonian, but the high elf range for this is, oh, bud, it just sucks. Like the stupid cow dudes, the cowboys, so bad. The dumbass giant rock cows. Get the fuck out of here, Games Workshop. Come on.
I know you're of the opinion that you may not know where all the cowboys have gone, but you think they should have stayed home.
They certainly should have. Can I tell a funny story?
Sure.
So I recently had to call a lawyer for Badcast business related things.
The Badcast Bizcast, yes.
And during this call with this lawyer, he revealed to me that he has a Bretonian army.
Makes me so happy.
Of all things, I'm talking to a lawyer about our stupid podcast, and he reveals the existence of a personal Bretonian army, and I was filled with joy.
Because you're talking to a literal rules lawyer.
But yeah, that was quite a fun surprise. So anyways, let's not tarry too long, because we're getting to the Blood Bowl Snotlings, aka the team that finally gets Campbell into this game.
I love these fucking models, man. Like, the only models I might like more are the halflings, and even then, only a little bit. And the pump wagon is so good. Their poses are so fun. They've got, like, they're not hyper detailed. They're just expressive, fun, great greenskin models, and I'm very here for them.
I would love to see you get these, my friend. If you don't have them by Christmas, don't buy them for Christmas. How about that?
Duly noted. Oh man, like I was like, hey Anne, look at these awesome models. And she's like, your goblins and Shadespire are terrible. And I'm like, oh, fine. I'm just gonna leave the room now.
Well, not terribly painted, at least.
Yeah, no, not terribly painted, just not good. I don't think I've ever scored more than 2 points with Gobos.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Snotlings, a Snotling team in Blood Bowl is going to be terrible.
Yes. I think I just need to kind of embrace that. And
it's going to be so bad.
Any scores I make are completely a fluke and a failing of the rules.
You're not going to make any. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, so Snotlings, I'm very, very excited for these. I don't know what kind of rules they're going to get. I don't know what kind of crazy bullshit they're going to be able to do on or off the field, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I do know that the Goblin team, one of their special balls that they can deploy during game is a Snotling in a ball costume.
Yes, it is. It's one of my favorite models for Blood Bowl.
So, again, Blood Bowl continues to be the best game that Games Workshop makes.
That isn't Necromunda.
No, it's better than Necromunda.
Whoa, okay.
I've always said that it's my favorite Blood Bowl.
If you have said it's better than Necromunda, I have forgotten.
The only reason why we don't spend 40% of our fucking airtime talking about Blood Bowl on this podcast is because you don't fucking play it.
So we only spend 20%. Yeah.
Anyways, Snotlings. Mm-hmm. I get all the Blood Bowl books anyways, but I'm probably going to pick up these models too.
Yeah.
Just because they look like a ton of fun. All right, moving on to the Horus Heresy. 30K, the perfect game, got a little more perfect.
I mean, they're an Emperor's Children character, so that does track.
Saul Tarvitz, which is the worst name for a Space Marine. Maybe if he was like an Adeptus Accounticus, it would be something. But no, Saul Tarvitz, the Space Marine who apparently, and I don't remember this because I don't remember this character at all, dies in the first book.
I thought he died in one of the early... he's like one of the first characters with a name to die. So good on striking the iron while it's hot like 15 years later.
I mean, it's a good model. Let's be honest.
I think it is a good model. His face does have strong Catachan energy, but it also is very expressive, which I do dig.
Don't you dare say that's a bad thing.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a thing that people of particular taste may enjoy more than others. Personally, I love it. Although any Catachan worth their salt would probably get a haircut.
Yes.
It's cool they're making models based on characters. I know that's one of the strengths of the whole 30K range, but again, like this guy. Okay, he was in the first Horus Heresy rulebook, and he hasn't had a model till now.
I just had a thought, and I was about to ask you a question, and then I realized I probably shouldn't ask you this question.
Okay, we can.
Which means I'm going to say it on the show because it's going to be a little bit of a laugher.
Okay.
So you said that if a Catachan worth their salt would cut that hair.
Yeah.
One of the things that people aren't doing right now because of the social distancing and the social isolation is getting haircuts. And my hair is starting to get pretty long. And I was going to ask you, Campbell. I was going to ask you if you were starting to look shaggy up top. But you're not. No. I'm sorry. Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
That's
I really
okay.
am.
Also,
oh God, I'm sorry.
Also, last week Ann buzzed my head for me, so we're good. It's the difference between it looking like kind of like an intentionally shaved head and just kind of like he's kind of Robocop-y up there, isn't he?
Didn't want to go with the Devin Townsend skullet.
No, I'm not growing it out right now. Oh my God. Okay. When I first shaved my head, important part of the story. My dad has a ponytail and has for my entire life.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
He has a ponytail and like a fireman's mustache and has for my whole life. So when I shaved my head for the first time, I came to my parents' house. They were like in shock kind of about this because I used to have like long hair when I still had a full head of it.
Does your dad have a full head of hair still, or is he
God
rocking?
No. He is in denial.
It's rocking the skullet.
So, it's combed. It's like pulled over and combed over. So, yeah. So he's just like, why didn't you grow your hair out into a ponytail? And I just had to do the calculus in my head so rapidly to refute that, but also not be insulting to my dad, who I love very much. And I just went, I don't want to cramp your style, Dad. And he asked no more questions.
Son, why didn't you do the worst possible idea?
Well, son, we're a ponytail family.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I kept the train rolling. I could have just fucking deadpanned you and made you feel maybe a little bit bad, but I kept rolling with it.
Oh, dang it. Gang, that's fun. Oh gosh, I'm glad you have good humor.
I have to.
All right, let's move on. Enough talking about your hair or lack thereof.
Or various grooming habits.
All right, they released a teaser for Psychic Awakening Pariah, the next book in the saga that is just adding a really unsustainable amount of rules to the game. But they did preview 2 new models. One of them is a slam dunk or a home run or a touchdown or a knockout or whatever other sports metaphor you want to use. And the other one is a confusing mess.
Let's start. If we're going to use a basketball analogy here, one is a slam dunk and one is a pop fly into the end zone. Because one of these makes sense and one of these just fucking doesn't.
Yeah, a damn slunk, if you will. Okay,
right, let's
start with a good one. Illuminator Xeris.
Yeah.
And this model went from 0 to hero.
Yeah, it's a hell of a glow up.
It is really something else. Xeris is extremely spidery and terrifying, and he's like... not psychically because Necrons don't have psychers, but he's somehow manipulating the juice from a poor captured human.
Yeah, he is sucking the soul jizz out of that poor old man.
And it is terrifying. I love it when they make Necrons scary, and Illuminator Xeris looks scary. I really, really like the fact that they're getting away from the bipedal humanoid silhouette.
Well, he always had little spider legs, but now he's like fucking honking. Like the old one was okay, but this one's real cool. And I do think leaning into that kind of inhuman sort of perspective and that inhuman sort of proportions, I think is a really good move for Necrons to take.
Yeah, and there's like a morbid curiosity to this model too, and like the set of its shoulders and how its like head is cocked to the side, where it's like examining the fluids that it's drawing from this poor unfortunate soul. That's a Disney song, and he's like confused or interested in it, like a detached sort of like psychopathic kind of way,
which is amazing to portray in a model with like a stone-faced metal sort of like non-expressive face. All communicating that through body language is a real triumph of design. And also, I like the dude on the base too. I hope if we ever actually get like a Psyker Battle Squad set or whatever they're called these days for Imperial Guard, they look like that guy. I like the sort of like raiments he's got on, the robes he's got, the beard and all that stuff. I like the look of everything.
I wonder what art that model is based on.
Not everything is based on existing art.
No, but what is it? What is it based on? What is it like from? Because that's not.
I mean, there's no
the design
shortage
of that guy. Not Xeris, but the guy that Xeris is not treating nicely.
First off, there's no understatement. There's no shortage of artwork of like weird dudes screaming in Warhammer, but also all right, here's my fucking tinfoil hat moment.
Okay.
That is the design for an upcoming like Imperial Guard Psyker unit or something of the sort. And they just like are popping it in there. I think that's what's going to be the case. Kind of like how some of the Space Wolves models had like dead Thousand Suns in their bases years before Thousand Suns came out.
Yeah.
And that design carried over. I think it's going to be that.
That's a strong tinfoil hat moment.
Well, can you imagine just being like, yes, I'm going to spend weeks designing this outfit and designing this character just to have them be a fucking casualty on the base of Spider-Man? No, I feel like they're going to reuse that somewhere. I'd be very much surprised.
So much ass, dude.
Yeah, this model rules.
It's so fucking, I'm looking at the close-ups right now. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's an absolute triumph. I'm not.
This model makes me want to play Necrons. It honestly does.
I get that. I'm not a huge Necron guy, but I really do dig that model. Like, I mean,
it's got a hero rock and everything, but it makes fucking sense where it is and how it's positioned in this. Also, there's like a little tiny scarab at the bottom too. That's fun.
Yeah. Well, also he's like on spider legs, so that hero rock is structural.
Yeah, this is a great model. Hey, let's move on to the not good model.
Okay. It's weird. The other model is. It's what's her fucking name? Inquisitor. Greyfax is the one with the power high heels and the flaming hat.
Inquisitor Lord Kyria Draxus.
So she's been in all the Psychic Awakening videos, which is kind of cool that she's just kind of been there all along. And I also like that she's not wearing power high heels or boob plate. I like all those design elements. Those things are all good. Those
design elements are fine. I actually think her armor is quite good. Mm-hmm. I think her the problems with this model do not stem from the model. It's like the armor and the person side of it. I like her head and face. Mm-hmm. I think it's a cool design there.
I think her head and face look kind of too much like one of the Ideneth Deepkin. Like it looks a little too like weirdly sharp and pulled back.
They did it. All right. Let me walk this back a little bit. I don't think they did enough with her head and face. Like I don't have a problem with a female sci-fi character or any female character being hairless or bald.
Mm-hmm. You better not.
The issue I have is it's just not a whole lot's going on it. You know what I mean? Like
that's a rare thing about a new Warhammer model. Not a lot going on.
Not a lot of detail involved there, and it just doesn't, like, the face is the focal point of the model, and I just don't think it stands out enough from the rest of the model to do the model justice. Now, she's wielding some sort of shuriken catapult, as the Eldar use, and she's not an Eldar; she's a human. She's okay. Here's another thing I have a problem with this: the words "radical Ordo Xenos Inquisitor." It's just about the coolest phrase in Warhammer 40k.
Just shy of Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau, yeah.
Yes, just behind that. So if you think, we're getting a radical Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, oh man, what are they going to look like? What are they going to do? They're going to have all sorts of cool shit going on. And this one just falls so flat.
I get that. Because, like, it's not weird enough. Her power armor is very clearly, like, kind of Dark Eldar inspired. If not necessarily like Dark Eldar make, like it's a kind of blend between the sort of Dark Eldar and Imperial aesthetic, which I think it sort of succeeds at. The skull shoulder pad, dope. I want kind of more of that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Shuriken catapult is a gun.
But if you're gonna have like a giant skull shoulder pad, which is sort of like a bestial wild look, Like, let's commit to that beast evil wild look instead of just throwing it on an otherwise very restrained model.
Yeah, I think aside from the Pokemon on her wrist, but yeah.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, all right, what do you think of her lizard friend?
I think, honestly, it just detracts from the rest of the model. Like, it sticks out way too high. There's too much going on with it. And it just doesn't, again, if you want a beast tamer kind of thing, like, let's look to the Muscle Bunch for inspiration. You know, let's not look to Craft World Eldar.
Yeah, I
for
get
inspiration that. There. I just don't think it mixes.
I get that. Yeah, I think it's almost like it's not going hard enough in any one given direction, so it just kind of doesn't do anything quite as well as it could.
This is like the Games Workshop players asking, "Hey, Games Workshop, we want an Radical Ordos Xenos Inquisitor," and Games Workshop saying, "Oh, we have Radical Ordos Xenos Inquisitor at home," and then this is the kind of the version that you have at home. Because it just falls flat, man. It just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I think it's like every part of the model is well sculpted. Every part of the model is like independently good, but it just doesn't quite all gel. And yeah, when I think Radical Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, I think some real John Blanche shit.
Right. No, and like their body they have taken Illuminator Xeris's lower body, and it's their lower body now. Mm-hmm. You know, like Radical. Like, if you told me that this was a puritanical Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, I'd say, yeah, okay, I see that.
Gave her a las pistol or something like that, yeah, I'd say the same.
No, even with the Eldar gun and the little Pokemon, I'd be like, hey, whatever, sure.
There's a purity seal on the gun. It's okay.
That's like it's a puritanical Inquisitor. I get it. I see it. If you tell me it's a Radical Inquisitor, I want a fucking Radical Inquisitor. I want skateboards. I want fucking like wild print clothing and hats, backwards hat, sunglasses.
Yeah, I get that. I do have one last note about this model before we move on. Is the
it says we're moving on. We're going to spend the rest of this show.
Yeah, we're going to spend the next hour and a half of this normally hour and a half long podcast dunking on one model we both have issue with. So I don't know if I've noticed this in other Eldar weapons before, or this is just a process of being a product of being a newly sculpted bit, but the magazine on the shuriken catapult, that sort of like spinny bit in the middle, looks a lot like the spinning wheel in a label maker gun. Like, she's just gonna shoot mine all over everything in the inquisitorial fridge, so no one goes after it.
Just put a KD for Kyriodraxis.
You are not gonna drink my tab.
Oh man, this cat really is causing me trouble. Mm-hmm. It's okay. She's fine. She's very cute. I love her. All right, let's move on. So we got some more art from the Hammer and Bolter show from Warhammer Storyforge, the animated show about Sisters of Battle. And I got to tell you, bud, it keeps looking better and better.
I'm kind of... So it was like in the preview, because this was the online preview, they basically spent 10 minutes talking about 3 pieces of art, which isn't really a ton to go on. I think Sister Elena has a cool Prince Zuko scar over her eye, which I dig. I like the art style. It's sort of a cool, very graphical, comic booky, but also animatable sort of art style. I dig it. And like they kind of hint at the relation between these two characters, but that's all we really got, and that's not really much for me to go on.
Okay, well, I like the art style.
I like the art style too. It was 3 pieces of art, which isn't ton, especially compared to I think the last one where you had like multiple trailers and like sizzle reels and so on. Like, I love seeing this stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing it all in one piece. I want to see it together. I want to know where I can watch it, when I can watch it, sort of. But I guess we'll get to that when we get to that.
I mean, it's probably very early on in production.
Yeah.
Right. So they can't show you what they don't have. Mm-hmm. Anyways, moving on. So we've got a couple of new made-to-order models, which aren't old, I don't think.
One is
old? Which one is old?
The Terminator Librarian Lexicanum Veros, they showed off in November.
Oh, they spelled his name differently. 2 different times. Verus and Veros.
They probably didn't want... I don't know why.
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Whatever. I'm not buying him. He's going to be available for pre-order or for made-to-order, which is... a small Marine in the year of our Lord 2020
was going to be one of those event only models, like Lieutenant Amulius. Mm-hmm. And now he is not. This model is not that good.
He looks kind of like when Rob Liefeld draws women, where it's all chest and hips, and they have a waist that's too small to hold all their organs.
Yeah, I didn't know Terminator armor was this slimming.
Yeah, which, more credit to him. But yeah, I'm not really
Keeping
into
it
this. I'm not really into this model.
So tight, he has no insides. Yeah, his head is about the same width as his waist, which is not a great look.
Yeah, and again, it's a small Marine in 2020, which outside of Horus Heresy specifically doesn't really gel.
No, it's too bad. But they came up with a new Battle Sister model to look like the Rob in our article in Goonhammer put it best. Look like the cover of the worst codex from the last edition? Yeah, it was.
It's my joke, but yes.
Oh, it was your joke. I thought it was Rob's joke. My bad.
Yeah, no, she's memorializing the cover to the Digital Sisters of Battle Codex from 7th edition. And while that edition isn't my favorite of the game, the artwork on that cover is really dope, and this model covers it beautifully. I think this model owns.
This model kicks fucking ass. It's great. It is really, really great. And I wish it was like had more relevance in game.
Yeah, because it's $35 for a single sister with a bolter.
Yeah, like I like that they are not like they're gonna put out plastic models that are just interesting pieces.
Yeah,
like this. I like that, but I just wish that something like this had a little bit more presence in game.
Yeah, I get that completely. I know somebody in the fucking Goon Discord we talked to has a Sisters of Battle gang they use Necromunda, and they're getting her for that, where she'll actually be useful. If you're really into kill teams, she's probably useful enough in that too. But in your average game of 40k, she's just a T3 one wound model with a 3-up save who's going to go away when a bad thing happens.
But she'll look good when she's doing it.
That is true. It's a dope model.
So they teased something in May, another preview in May.
Yep.
And that was it for the third online preview. A lot going on, but we got one more thing to talk about before we move on, and it's another new Aeronautica flight plan article, and this time no mission.
Due to obvious reasons, there's just kind of not really the resources around.
So they previewed the Avenger Strike Fighter and the Tau Tiger Shark AX-10, which are cool, both great models. They look like they have some pretty gnarly rules too. The Avenger Strike Fighter is a serious glass cannon with the ability to bring a ton of firepower, but only 2 structure points. So it will get blasted from the sky with relative ease, while the Tiger Shark is a absolute menace.
With a flying tank.
Very powerful gun that works at long range, best at long range. So last time in Aeronautica Imperialis in the early 2000s, Tau, their MO was to fly very slowly at high altitude and just blast things apart from long range. And it looks like that's going to be how they play in this version too.
Yep. At max speed 6 and throttle 2, it's not going anywhere too fast.
No, but it doesn't need to, because it's got long range guns that absolutely wreck shit.
Yep. Although I like that the Avenger Strike Fighters they actually have a different niche than a Thunderbolt, because the Thunderbolt is like, they're both medium range fighters, but just the Thunderbolt can hang back a little bit more with its guns. The Avenger wants to be a little closer.
Yeah.
And it's speedy. It's got, close range guns. I'm looking forward to painting up some of these things, and also the models just look so fucking good for everything in this game.
The Avenger Strike Fighter looks like it could beat orcs at their own game.
Yeah,
if you took a bunch of them and loaded them up with a lot of close range guns, it looks like it could outclass orcs, because orcs are all about lots and lots of close range shooting in Aeronautica, and the Avenger Strike Fighter can do that and will do that with relative ease.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on, man. We're getting through it here. That was only a
45 minutes.
45 minute. Yeah. Oh God, we're so bad at this. Okay.
If you've been listening for 70 something episodes at this point, we're bad at this.
All right, we make the call. First off, before we get to our question of the day, I want to talk about some listener engagement, and I want to thank people for participating in the Backlog Challenge. We had tons of people send us via picture or video we got one video, and it was Dylan, and he has the most miniatures ever of their backlogs that they have, and it was inspiring and depressing at the same time.
It's interesting. It gives you a real sort of perspective on what you've got going on your own.
Now, Campbell, have you taken your backlog out and taken a picture of it and posted it to social media yet?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to Pat Mulvaney, whose backlog is just a single fucking lieutenant on a very empty shed carpet. Which, oh, God, I felt really owned by that picture.
Yeah.
I have not dragged mine out because I've been busy doing fucking yard work and lame real life bullshit instead of dragging out my sources of internal anxiety as opposed to external anxiety.
Okay. I haven't done it either. I actually did drag it all out so I could digitally put it in my Trello for organizing it, for the purposes of organizing it, like we talked about in our last episode. But I was stupid and didn't take pictures then because I was like, I'll just do it later. So now, Campbell, we have some homework. Before I post the show, we both need to do that.
Oh, motherfucker. Okay. All right. I'll make it. I'll make do.
I'm just going to say tomorrow is a good day for pictures.
So,
because I'm going to be busy at work tomorrow and Friday. So, So if you just get it done before Saturday, it'll probably be good.
I told my wife Anne about this, and she's like, "Oh, how many unpainted bottles do you have?" And I could just like feel my soul withering and dying as almost like, I can't, no. And I just kind of like laughed, kissed her on the cheek and said, "Thanks, honey," and just left the room.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought my backlog was a lot bigger than it actually is. So I'm not too worried about it, honestly.
I at least don't think I have any more Land Raiders still in box that I'd forgotten about. Although I know I do have a Rogue Trader Land Raider I've had for like
I have a repulsor in box, and it will probably never get paid.
Is it just a regular ass repulsor?
Regular ass repulsor.
If it was an executioner, I'd actually send it to me.
Okay, if it was an executioner, I would send it to you because you need one for your army. Anyways, so thanks for participating in the backlog challenge. There are no winners.
Spoiler.
All right. From Alex F. via email. Which 4 Primarchs would you choose to join you in doing the following? A pub crawl. B, chill beers. Or C, a stag party style rager. Now, here's the thing, Campbell. I think for all 3 of these activities, I would choose the same 4 Primarchs.
I mean, that's the only way to really get us. If they're your bros, you're going to do all 3.
Yes.
And we're all about broing out right here at this show.
All right. I think there are 2 obvious inclusions in this: Russ and Jagati Khan.
Yep.
Because they're both fun-loving dudes.
Yep.
A little bit rowdy. Couple rowdy boys.
And here's the thing,
that's all right.
You know, Russ would buy all the drinks at the pub. If you're chilling, he'll keep telling you stories until you just leave the room. And at a stag party, well, he's a party animal. And Jagati Khan, he's going to be probably a bit more reserved, but which means he'll be better for the chill sort of environment. But he'll probably tell you about some great hunts he's been on.
Yeah.
He might show you his severed head collection. And you'll be like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a lot of fucking heads.
It's a lot of heads. How many are on the stairway up to your house? Oh, like 1 million. Cool. And for a stag party, I imagine he'd probably be pretty good. He'd probably actually bring in actual stag he slaughtered if he maybe misunderstood the whole notion of the event. But yeah.
Yeah. So Russ and Jagati Khan definitely in there. But Campbell, that's 16 more to choose from for the final 2 spots. Let's talk about some obvious non-includes.
I would say.
1, Rabute Gilliman. He's no fun.
Buzzkill.
Total buzz. In the same vein, Rogel Dorn. Not invited.
Yeah. Oh God. Can you just imagine? You're just like, you're having your cool chill, and it's like, yeah, man, what'd you just do? I just did some cool shit. Just went on a hike. What about you? And he'd just be like, I built a wall that cannot be surpassed.
I did my duty while you were enjoying yourself and engaging in leisure activities. I was vigilant.
I will never stop looking at my wall. So him
complete buzzkills.
Similar.
Other side of the coin, buzzkills. Conrad Kurz.
Oh yeah.
And Corvus Corax. They're just moody and shitty.
Here's the
do you want to get drunk with either one of those idiots? Absolutely fucking not.
I have, but enough about when I go drinking alone. I feel like Corvus Corax. I mean, I've been to some pretty good goth bars, and I bet Corvus Corax could point me towards one at least as good as the Lovecraft in Portland. Like, I think he might be able to find a good joint at the very least.
Yeah, but Corvus Corax, he doesn't have any fun. He's too sad to have fun.
This is true.
He's too conflicted and brooding to have fun.
You bring 3 other bros.
Right, but I'm saying is you don't bring a guy who's going to drag everything down and be like, you're like having fun, you're talking to people, you're doing stuff, and then you got fucking old Sabi in the background just fucking hanging out, not doing nothing.
Yeah, Peter Murphy's one-man fan club just hanging out in the back of the room looking sad.
That guy sucks. But you said another guy who sucks, Turabo, he's terrible. Just get him out of here. Well, you talk about bad attitude. Mortarion, no, he stinks. You can't bring that guy out to the club.
And he's sad.
Can't bring that guy out. Angron? No, he's an angry drunk. He gets in fights.
He's
Get that guy the fuck out of here.
Let alone an angry drunk.
All right. But we do have some possibilities here.
Vulcan, absolutely. Love that guy. Totally friendly. I don't know if he parties that hard, though. Here's the thing. If you're just doing a hangout and chill, he's going to be the one hanging out and grilling.
He's the guy. He is the guy.
He's going to bring his own
chilling.
He's going to bring his own charcoal from Nocturne. He's the dude you want.
And you really always just want Vulcan, don't you? He's in there. Jagati Khan and Vulcan, probably the 2 best.
Yeah.
Just rack that up. Count it. All right. So we got one more spot. We got a lot of finalists here. Okay. Let's think about Fulgrim and Sanguinius. All right.
Okay.
Do you want to invite the 2 prettiest people ever to hang out with you and completely eclipse you in every single way? No, you don't.
Exactly. And also with Fulgrim, have you ever been to like a party where someone just like, it's like, hey, you got drinking some beers? That's cool. Who wants to do cocaine? I got cocaine. And
or gets the party like weirdly horny or tries to, like when you're just like, dude, we're just trying to watch the game.
Yeah, like you don't want
you don't have to show us. You don't have to show us about all the porn people you follow on Twitter.
I don't need to know.
In fact, we wish you wouldn't.
I don't need to know how horny on main you are all the time.
Yeah, and Sanguinius, like you don't want to like hang out with somebody who just completely eclipses you in every way.
You don't want to feel bad about yourself.
No, and Sanguinius is too perfect. He's out. I'm sorry.
All right. I got a dark horse here, which would be Horus. Not like before he finds an evil sword or whatever and gets all bad, like when he's just like the fucking greatest dude in the world. Like
seems like a chill guy. Yeah,
seems like a chill guy. But
seems also, like a chill guy.
I feel like maybe afterwards be kind of one of those like you're sat drinking and he's like, hey, you want to hit your neighbor's mailbox with a baseball bat? Get in the bed of your truck.
Yeah,
like it'd be the kind of troublemaker sort of dude. He might be kind of fun.
I think Horus is definitely a finalist. You know who's not a finalist? Lorgar. Fuck that guy. He probably doesn't even party.
I'm not going to invite him.
Here's an interesting finalist.
Okay.
Magnus.
I imagine he has the best weed.
He definitely has the best drugs. Like not the most drugs, but the best drugs. Fulgrim has the most drugs, and he does them indiscriminately. But Magnus, he also probably has some crazy shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna get bored when Magnus is at the party.
I mean, I've definitely been at the sort of party where it's just kind of like really low key and you just kind of start perusing through their bookshelf and just like looking through what they got. And he's got a bookshelf.
Oh, he's got forbidden knowledge in that bookshelf though.
It's mostly manga, but it's still a pretty good bookshelf.
Kuidate a little bit there. Ferris Manus, I'm sorry, he's just kind of boring. I don't think Ferris Manus makes the cut. Like he's a bad guy. It's just that,
the party would be in his garage. He'd just be talking about his car.
I've been to those parties.
I've
actually been to a lot of those parties. They're not great.
I'm 0% shocked by anything you just said.
All right. So I think we got I think Horus edges out Magnus there. So I think our crew would be Vulcan, Russ, Jagati Khan, and Horus.
It'd be a good party.
Pretty good crew.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on to our first topic of conversation for the show. Campbell, what would happen if all of your hobby stuff disappeared? I'm talking models, paints, cases, paint holders, brushes, everything disappeared.
Well, as we all know, the lore around this is when your last unpainted model is finished, you die. When you run out of unpainted models, you're dead. So realistically, I would just die on the spot.
Right.
But let's take that hypothetical out of the way and say I had to restart from scratch and you had to restart from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, the first question would be, would you even bother getting back into the hobby? Which I know for the two of us, I think even before we started the show, we would still say yes, we'd get back into the hobby, whether it is specifically this part of it or whatever. Like we'd still be doing miniature wargaming, 40k, Warhammer of some flavor.
Absolutely. I we were talking before the show about topics for this show, and one of them was like, what would it take for us to leave the hobby? Mm-hmm. And at this point, possibly because we have a podcast empire built around the hobby. I don't think there is anything that really could dislodge us from the hobby, except for like, just something so horrible and unforeseen that we couldn't possibly predict it. But like it could happen. Oh no, I'm hitting my desk right now, but like my house could burn down.
Yeah.
Right. And I really fucking hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, like what would happen? Like I would have to start from scratch with the hobby. And I don't think I would leave it. I don't think I would just quit and say, like, fuck it, I'm doing something else now. I think I'd get back into it somehow. So that was a question we wanted to ask. And honestly, it's kind of a scary question.
Yeah, but that's kind of why I wanted to ask it, because it seems like one that you can actually have a pretty interesting sort of discussion that's very individualistic. And also kind of exposes the first thought, which is like, oh God, am I just in this because of the sunk cost fallacy? Because I've been doing this for 20 years. And it's no, I'm doing this because it generally makes me happy. So it's kind of good to get that reality check. But also what I would do is, or I have to think about is like, what would you get back into it with? Like, would you collect the same armies again, or would you do something different? Great
question. So when I was preparing my notes for the show, there's a little bit of a narrative that happens from this.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go through them real quick. It won't take long. My first note is I would probably want to work on something else. Orcs spring to mind. Mm-hmm. Then I put down wet palette. I put down weathering, airbrush. And then I was like, fuck that. I would build so much terrain. I would start with terrain.
Interesting.
Because like right now I have half painted terrain at Scott Horace's house, Yeah. The first thing I would do would learn how to make baller ass tables. And then I would have them forever. And then I would get into actually putting models together to play the game. Because that's the opposite of the way I did it the first time.
Interesting.
So make the play surfaces first and then get the armies to play on them. And I think that's a way that most people do not go about getting into the hobby. Most people get into the hobby because of the models.
Yeah, because most people aren't model railroad enthusiasts.
It's true. So yeah, I think that would be the first thing I did.
I feel like
it'd also be a whole different slew of skills, that I don't have a lot of practice with.
Yeah.
So it might be cool to work on that a little bit, like cutting and shaping foam, creating terrain, and then painting large things with not Citadel paints, but like probably using a bunch of like house paint or bulk acrylics or something. Like, I don't know. I think it would be a very different approach to everything, and it would, be very interesting.
There's something kind of freeing about it just because it's such a different style of painting too, because you can just dry brush and Xenothal's prime everything, really.
Right, yeah.
Or go nuts with oil washes too, like Dylan does.
Yeah.
See, I feel like if I were to get back into it, from scratch, I just kind of want to be gaming as fast as possible. Oh. So I think I would start with Necromunda, which is shocker, I know, to long-time listeners. So I don't know if I'd necessarily go with Goliaths just because they're my homeboys, or if I would, I might have the chance to build them with good loadouts this time because I didn't the first time round.
Hey-o.
Or if but what I think I'd actually really do is I'd go with some really weird counts as stuff with some weird conversions. Like I think I would lean hard into that sort of Blanchitsu, Iron Slate, Ink 28 sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like every model you paint, every army is a labor of love and a piece of art. So I feel like I would really lean into that hard. Like maybe I'd only paint, a couple dozen models that year, but they'd be really weird and really individualistic and very much mine.
Okay.
It wouldn't just be, I don't think, and if I were to move on from Necromunda to 40K, I don't think I would just do Ultramarines again. Or if I did, they'd be really like rogue tradery and very Blanchitsu-y and very like a lot, even more so than I'm already doing, where I'm doing a lot of patterns and chipping and so on. Like I would go hard with making them very weird and different and making them again like distinctively mine. Or maybe even that's when you do like Death Corps of Krieg or some, really crazy army that you wouldn't normally do. But I feel like I wouldn't be, doing my 10th army or whatever. I'd be doing my first army in a way. So what would I be doing to make that first army really special and, really take the time to appreciate what I've got?
Yeah, I think both of us would go in the same direction and do something different.
Yeah.
And as weird as it sounds, like the idea of working on a bunch of terrain is interesting to me. Yeah. Like it's because it's skills that I currently don't have. Mm-hmm. So I know that I can paint a Raven Guard army.
Yeah,
I've done it
twice,
and I don't. Yeah, right. Well, the first time I didn't do it that well.
You still did it twice,
but I did it twice. Yeah, I don't need to do it a third time.
Well, during one of our weekly hobby hangs, Greg from Goonhammer was on the last one. He was like, "I want you to do just 4 almost identical articles in a row of SRM's Ultramarines Army Showcase." Because I have like 4 Ultramarines armies.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I only have 3 now, but I'm just waiting for Epic to come out so I can have them in another scale.
There it is.
But yeah, I don't think I would go right back into those guys. Or if I did, it would be a very different take on them. As much as I love, Ultramarines and Space Marines as a whole, like I'd want to do something very different. And again, this is also assuming we aren't, destitute after the loss of our armies or whatever. Like this is assuming we still have some resources available to us.
Well, yeah, like I honestly don't know if I'd jump back into 40k for immediately. I think I'd probably go the specialist games route, just because it'd be easy to get in there. And I would try games that I haven't, picked up yet, like Adeptus Titanicus.
Yeah.
And try to get something going therein. Just again, because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. And the thing is, like with Age of Sigmar, for me, I've got Slaves of Darkness, or Daves of Darkness, sorry, and Carl Francis Pajama Pals. So I've got those 2 armies, but I don't think I'd rebuild either of those. I think I'd probably go with like Iron Jaws because I really like painting orcs when I don't have to paint 1 billion of them. And I just would like to experience, a part of the game I'm not familiar with. And also Age of Sigmar, I kind of think I like that game better than 40k right now. So I think
wow.
I know I do. So I think I'd want to stick with that as much as I could.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I don't know. I feel like Age of Sigmar is something that, if I was going to do, it would have to be, oh my God, there's a cat yelling at me.
I hear that cat yelling at you. It's great.
She just bonked her head so hard on the desk.
Oh, sweetie.
No, it's good. She was headbutting. She did it on purpose.
Sure.
Yeah. So Age of Sigmar, I don't know. The thing that I find it hard about Age of Sigmar and Adeptus Titanicus specifically is that the lore just seems pretty unpenetrable to me.
Even over Titanicus?
Titanicus is like, I don't know anything about any of these Legios or Legios or however you pronounce that. I don't even know how to fucking pronounce it. My Horus Heresy knowledge is sparse, and honestly, I'm just not very interested in it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the biggest barriers for me with Adeptus Titanicus.
I get that.
Is that it's just the lore doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do anything for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any reference point to it. So
yeah, I get that.
It's the same way. It's the same way for AOS. Like I don't have for Blood Bowl. One of the reasons I love Blood Bowl so much is because it's based on the old world, and I have so much reference and knowledge about the old world, and I can just boom, I got it. My brain makes the connections immediately. But with AOS, it's like I don't know. I just don't have a whole lot of connections there. But if I lost everything and started anew, it might be a good idea to get into that. You heard the cat again.
I
right?
did hear the cat again. I hope that gets picked up. The thing is, I know if you and I actually lived near each other in this fantasy situation, I feel like we'd kind of build off each other, and like I'd get into Blood Bowl. Maybe you'd get into AOS, just so we could play both games with each other or whatever. But I know I have my local scene of local friends, again, assuming that we're allowed to leave the houses at any point in the future, plays, AOS, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, 40k. Like we got a lot of things we can play together. So I think I'd go with just about any one of those. I'm not 110% sure I'd pick up Aeronautica stuff right away or anything like Blackstone Fortress right away. Just because, I don't really have a crew I'm playing that with much. Like I was playing Aeronautica with Dylan occasionally, and
right.
I wanted to play. My dad wanted to play with me, and I really want to play with him sometime soon too, just because it's such an easy pick up and play game. But also, like, I don't know, I'd go with the stuff I knew I was going to play more first.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Like it's a the player base for Aeronautica doesn't seem very big at the moment.
Yeah, and be the change you want to see in the world and all that stuff is like, that's totally valid. Yeah. But when you're just starting out, maybe don't try to shake things up. Just try to fit in first.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think I'd go in a different direction, though. I don't want to rehash the things I've already done.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is when you're painting Intercessor number 35, the second time around, it's hard to get enthused. It feels very Sisyphean, like you're pushing the same boulder up a hill over and over again. Or maybe if I did do Marines, I'd focus just on shit I haven't painted before.
I think I have 39 Intercessors totally painted.
Jesus Christmas.
Because I have 6x5, and then I have alternate sergeants for all 6 of them. So that's 36, and then I have 2 alternate grenade launchers.
Yep.
For the first 2 squads that came without grenade launchers from the box. So that's 38, and then I have the sergeant, the vet sarge.
Okay.
So that's 39.
I have 34 because one got melted by plastic glue.
Very nice. All right. Starting from scratch. It's kind of a terrifying proposition.
It is. I hope we never have to deal with it, but it's
same here.
It's interesting to think about.
Okay. All right, let's move on. So because I've been watching Making the Cut on Amazon, it's a fashion show. It's a competition reality show about fashion designers trying to advance and win. The prize for this one is $1 million also, which is a lot of fucking money. So that's cool for them, I suppose. But we were thinking of ideas for the show and I was like, fuck it, man. Best dressed 40K. Let's do it. Let's talk about the greatest sartorial achievements in the 40K universe. And Campbell,
why did you hit me up with an 8th grade vocab word right there, Dan? Sartorial. Jesus.
Very nice, isn't it? So I have quite a lot of picks.
Okay.
Of good picks here, and I have some bad ones too.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Let's just start. Let's talk about some winners, and then we'll get in on the losers.
All right.
My first winner, and this should come as no surprise, Commissar Yarrick.
All right.
He just it's a very militaristic look
for sure.
But that's what he's going for. And I'm a huge fan of the black trench coat, the peaked cap, and of course the accessory to end all accessories, a giant power claw.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a pretty good. It's pretty hard to beat that. Also, that's a bold statement piece for sure. A claw larger than your actual body is a bold statement piece.
It's you're going to get noticed when you walk into a room. Heads will turn. All right, who you got?
So my first pick is one that she may not have the best fashion, but she certainly has the most fashion, which is everyone's favorite Yanari Yvrain.
Yes, Yvrain.
She's got a lot going on because she has those cybergoth leggings / anti-shoes. She has that Victorian lady bustle full of knives and also a corset. She has that Coachella-style feathered headdress, but that isn't quite culture appropriative, so it's okay.
Love it.
She's got killer makeup. She's got a cool accessory cat and utter contempt and confidence. I think she's got it.
She's also walking the walk.
Yeah, that is true.
A great strut from Yvrain.
She is the only model in the game to have a base large enough to accommodate the train behind her dress.
Yeah, her dress is on fleek, as they say.
She's got eyeliner sharp enough to cut a man's guts open. No, Yvrain rules.
Yeah, it's a great look. It's a very powerful look. I'm a huge fan of that. Another look I'm a huge fan of, Mephiston, the Lord of Death. He's got what I like to call Vlad the Impaler chic.
Okay.
So you've got the exposed muscle type armor.
That Bram Stoker's Dracula shit. Yep.
Oof, just very evocative. And then the flowing robes. Oh my God, they're flowing, Campbell.
Oh, they are. They
are flowing.
I think.
And great accessory here. Love this accessory. The leather gloves over the power armor. We've talked about it before on the show when we were talking about the Phobos Librarian.
Well, you got to keep your hands warm.
You got to keep those
insulated, enclosed environment power armor legs warm. Also,
the thing you don't want to chip your armor.
No,
okay?
obviously not.
And he's a blood angel too. He really doesn't want to chip.
So he's also got the robes cut off just so he's got the crotch cleave muscle armor going on, which is pretty dope.
He does.
But
I got to tell you, but this look, fantastic. If you're going for old school vampire look, which he is, he's nailing it.
Well, see,
it's not my look, but it's his look, and he's killing it.
Well, I'm going to pivot ever so slightly from Vlad the Impaler chic to Gary Oldman, Bram Stoker, Dracula chic with Astorath the Grim, because he takes that look and he's even more goth. Like, he is turbo goth, because while he has the power nipples, he also has power toes. And he's got these black feathered angel wings, which is some very like DeviantArt original character do not steal sort of shit. And he's got some load-bearing scrolls while he's at it. Like that, I mean, having an accessory that's functional as well as fashionable, Astorath the Grim, I think he's a pretty strong contender here.
Astorath is definitely looked at Mephiston and said, you know what? I can do more. Maybe not better, but I can do more.
I think you're noticing a theme with my picks here.
Yes, your picks are very extra. Speaking of extra, here's another pick in the flowing robe department. But Samael from the Dark Angels, specifically Samael on his crazy power flying motorcycle
the
thing.
Only Imperial hover bike until 10 years later they made a bunch of Custodes hover bikes.
Yes, so Samael, you want to talk about a flowing robe. This guy is rocking what looks like about 900 cubic feet of cloth coming off the back of his bike. And the Dark Angels are the robe masters.
This is true.
There is nobody with better robe game.
And there's a lot of robe
Dark
game
Angels.
in Warhammer.
And who's the king of the robe game? Samael. So great look over there. Who you got?
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing him getting off his motorcycle and eating shit as he trips over his cape. My next pick is going to be, gonna keep it Imperial. I'm going to go with Lucia Vane of the Aleutian Star Striders.
Oh, yes.
She is probably the
veil.
Only model where wearing high heels makes sense. Because she's a rogue trader. She's not in uniform. She's
an aristocrat.
Yeah, she's an aristocrat. She's got the cool veil with like the lace detail and everything. She's got tall boots with skull knee pads, which is very Imperial chic. She's got a corset, much like Yvraine. She's got evening gloves on with the frilly bits and everything. Got a cyber monocle, a cane sword, a fanciful gun, and to top it all off, a feathered hat. And feathered hats. Like I've mentioned before, I'm a fan of old Warhammer Fantasy. I love me the Empire. So feathered hats have a very, very strong place in my heart. And she's got a damn good one. And also
again, another pick where it's like 90% accessories.
Well, here's the thing. She's got a whole accessories squad of the Aleutian Star Striders. They're all dressed to match her. And they've got, coordinated armor. They got the lion heads, everyone, the swirls, everything.
Yep.
And she's a rogue trader. She can afford to be extra.
It's less of a posse and more of a production.
It's her running crew.
Yeah. No, it's great. I'm a fan of the Star Striders. I'm a fan of that look. I'm a fan of that aesthetic. And I'm a fan of Lucia Vane. But you know who else I like a whole lot?
Who?
I'm not okay. With this look, I mean
not everyone of these looks is for us.
There's only one person that could own this look, and buddy, does he own this look? And I'm talking about old Fabulous himself.
Oh,
Fabius Bile.
Okay.
We are talking about. Okay, listen. I'm not over here saying that having a skin suit is good. I am not saying that. But if there's anybody who can make a skin suit look good, it's Fabius Bile. Come on. Campbell, there's a reason why people call him fabulous.
When somebody asks you who you're wearing, you shouldn't have such a literal answer.
Hey, that's good. Hey,
I made it funny. Also, he's wearing the corset backwards. The strings are all in the front of his belly.
Oh, man, he is I think the strings are in the front of his belly because that's his actual belly, and he's just removed all of his organs.
And he's just sewn the shirt.
Listen, man, it's a look. It is a look, capital L look, and he is killing it and everybody else.
This is very true. And again, Kane, much like Lucia Vane, and also my next choice.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it a Kane; it's more of a staff. But Inquisitor Eisenhorn.
Oh, Gregor.
Yeah. Old Greg Eisenhorn. This is a dude who has not one, but two coats over his shirt.
Gotta love this. Gotta love those coats,
Gotta love
baby.
those coats. And, having layers to your fashion is very important.
Gotta layer. Everybody knows this.
So, it's cold out there in the galaxy. You gotta layer up. But he's got his books on him. He's got his swords. He's got his stick. He's got his scrolls. Like, dude's looking good, and dude's looking like he's ready for work.
You and the accessories.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for accessories. I'm sorry.
All right, you know who has no accessories and doesn't need them?
Who?
Tyrannids.
You're right.
Listen, all I'm here, I just love the boldness in going absolutely nude. Love it. It's such a strong and empowering statement. The Tyrannids are nude at all times. You know what? I couldn't do it. I don't have the confidence, but the fact that they have the confidence
as a collective,
it makes me feel good.
That's fair. You gotta feel good for them. And if we're gonna be going with more nude people here, I'm gonna go with one of my sharpest dressed people in the entirety of the Imperium, which is Iron Hand Strachan. Because this is he lost half his body to a Mireland shark. And he didn't just
whatever the fuck that is.
It's it's probably exactly what it sounds like. And use your imagination, Dan. It's a shark with legs, which is terrible. Oh, a shark with fleshy human legs, which is terrifying. So when he lost half his body, he didn't just opt for any old utilitarian replacement. He got one that is an accessory. He got one with not only a cyber nipple, but sculpted abs and sculpted biceps and fingers and everything. He is a man who, tough as he may be, cares deeply about his appearance. And the thing is, that's a motivating factor. If half of my body was literal steel abs, I would work my ass off to make sure the other half matched.
Yeah, he did not sacrifice form at all for function. He John Hammond that shit and spared no expense. And I you know what? I appreciate it and I acknowledge it and I see you. Colonel
Iron Hand Strachan. I bet the day he got out of the medical unit, he was bench pressing a heavy bolter to keep himself nice and tight.
You got to, baby. You just have to. All right, here's somebody for you that I love. You want to talk about accessories? Captain Badrook of the Freebooters. The Freebooters in general have it going on. But Captain Badrook is the most going honest of, you want extra. He is the very definition of extra as far as the 40k universe goes.
Oh, that's extremely fair.
Look at this. He's got coats. He's got scarves. He's got a treasure map for a tabard. He's just got shit everywhere. He's got a boss pole. What's not to love? Oh, and of course, the most important accessory of them all, a chest full of teeth.
Well, I'm unfortunately running out of my best dress, and I'm getting into my my dishonorable mentions here.
All right. Well, I just got a couple more. First,
all right.
A dual mention of Imhotep the Stormlord and Nemastor's Zandrek. I love the beaded capes. I can't imagine that they're actually practical whatsoever, but I love the 60s guru chic that they're doing.
Yeah, there's some strong love guru vibes here, though I just can't help but imagine the sound of the fucking capes as they walk.
Oh, it would be deafening.
It's like a cowbell for the entirety of the Necron tier.
And then last but not least, the Gene Stealer cult Magus, Magus, whatever. She is rocking the fitted dress.
Yep.
The high boots. It's like a fitted double dress. It's a layered dress. Fantastic.
Big on the layers.
But then
here.
The best part, accessories, a vest with a high collar that comes up above her head.
Yeah.
Killing the game. But let's get into it.
Wonderful grenade catcher.
Dishonorable mentions. I invite you to go first.
I'm going to start with Cypher, because he heard someone say your shirt looked like a dish rag, and he thought he'd cut out the middleman and go straight to just wearing one.
Yeah, so Dark Angels, the robe game on fleek, of course. Cypher, former Dark Angel, robe game, terrible.
Yeah, his armor is very hobo chic, which is not in this season, as we all know. And yeah, just wearing that tattered cloak around all the time just to carry your dad's sword on it, it's not a great look.
Looks lazy. It looks like he showed up to his Zoom meeting in his pajamas.
He just showed up to his Zoom meeting in his incredibly tattered bathrobe.
You know, I heard something really funny today, as an aside. The business mullet is when you wear a jacket and a shirt and a tie, and then you have shorts because nobody can see your legs.
I think that's what John Krasinski does during his some good news videos. He just is wearing a suit and then he gets up and he's wearing Red Sox boxer briefs.
The business mullet. Love it. Anyways, here, I've got one, something for you. So we talked about the skin cloak earlier. I'm going to come back to the skin cloak now. I hope you're okay with this.
I am okay with this.
I use my
one good skin cloak joke, so this is all you.
Skin cloak wearers who aren't Fabius Bile.
Okay.
Homunculus. Flayed ones. That's about it. You know what? I'm not going to try to get out there and, make sneakers when Michael Jordan is around. Well, he doesn't make the sneakers himself, but he's getting the sneakers made for him.
No, he just kisses everyone at the end of the assembly line.
He does do that. I've seen videos. Yeah. I'm not going to get out there and try to make sneakers when Michael Jordan's around. All right. So maybe flayed ones, maybe homunculi. When you got the master of the skin cloak, maybe you try something different. Maybe you take your own thing.
Yeah. Stop stepping on his game.
Be like Fleetwood Mac and go your own way.
Ooh, not bad. Not bad.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What do you got?
I was going to go with Sergeant Joven. He's the only Space Marine model with damage on his armor. Then the boy couldn't get cleaned up. Everyone else gets cleaned up. And that haircut he's got, although it says he's got a 125% chance of stealing your girl, it's a very 2015 look.
I have to search who this is. Because how do you spell Joven?
Jovan.
Sergeant Jovan. Old Jovan.
Painting him right now.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, with the orc head.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
It's really with 2/3 of an orc.
Well. Yeah. I mean, his only accessory really is a tabard.
It's a dead orc.
Does that count? Are we counting that?
We can.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this guy that much.
I'm painting him right now. It's a pretty fun model to paint.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. No, with you. I nothing about Sergeant Joven screams, buy me and paint me.
And yet here I am anyway, like the sucker I
am. Here we go. Here's, this might be a little bit of a hot take. Harlequins.
Too much?
Too much? Too many patterns. Guys, ladies, people. Pick one and stick with it. Don't do stripes and then the Harlequin diamond pattern. Okay. Don't mix patterns.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I mean, I will say it's very activewear. It's very 2020 activewear.
Athleisure.
Yeah, it's very athleisure.
I mean, but that's just because it's comfortable doesn't make it good.
Just because comfortable doesn't make it fashionable.
You got anything else?
No, because I'm realizing how many models have dope as hell power nipples.
I got one more.
All right.
All of the Dark Eldar.
Oh, no.
Just too... people rag on Raven Guard for being Molgoths. But you want to talk about the real Linkin Park fans in the room here? All right. It's the Dark Eldar. They're terrible. Spikes, heads, bones. What are you doing?
Goths.
All right. What are you doing?
Goths hating on Goths is a type of violence I cannot abide. However, I will agree with you only insofar as that one Bam Bam haircut or Pebbles from the Flintstones haircut on the witch sprue.
Yeah. That's get out of here.
That one I can live without that haircut, but we're coming down to haircuts, not necessarily fashion sense. Though I think there's an awful lot of ripped nylon going on with some of those models.
Your favorite.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it for Best Dressed 40K. Gang, if you have suggestions and you want to, yell at us or whatever, contact the 40kbadcast.com. Get at us and tell us how wrong we were with our stupid joke segment. Let's move on.
Speaking of stupid joke segments.
Fact or fan fiction, it's back for the 71st time.
The joke hasn't gotten old yet, at least to me.
Oh, wow. Hope we never run out. We never run out.
As long as there is an internet full of writers of dubious quality, we will not run out. And speaking of writers of dubious quality, I'm returning to a series a story you may have heard a segment of in a past episode. So real old heads are going to get this one.
All right, hit me.
The train bumped along the tracks, its muffler still activated. When Jessica finally arrived, having teleported in, That's a sentence. The city was in ruins. A second sentence. There were only very few buildings still standing, and there were fires raging everywhere. The citizens were on the streets, crying over their dead kin. Thank the Emperor! Our prayers have been answered! A Imperial Guardsman exclaimed, seeing Jessica. When I sent my message, I didn't think anyone would come. Commissar Severina Rain said, relieved. Damn, what happened? Jessica asked. The Plague Marines attacked. As you can see, they almost completely leveled the city. She stretched her hand over the landscape. How many troops are still here? Well, I mean alive, Jessica asked. 300 men and women, ma'am. I'm glad you arrived when you did, Severina said. Sorry to disappoint, but am looking for Adaptus Boiculus. She's meant to be here somewhere, Jessica said. Severina cursed out loud. At this rate, we'll never win this war. Jessica looked at Commissar Rain. While I'm still searching for my Adaptus Boiculus, I can lend some assistance, Jessica said. I believe your Adaptus Boiculus is to the west of here, space exclamation mark, comma, Severina yelled. Let's go! Exclamation point, comma, Jessica replied. Several minutes later, and the duo were at the location. They immediately noticed Plague Marines and the Adaptus Boiculus fighting the, comma, space off. You bitch! Severina screamed with rage as she opened fire. For the Emperor! Jessica said as she too opened fire. It took an hour for the DUP to dispatch the Plague Marines. The Adaptus Boiculus looked at Jessica and Severina. This is a quarantine zone, she snapped. What? Severina sacked said. You're required, Jessica said. Nope, sorry. Excuse me, I do not care if you're wrong. You're needed here. I have injured Adaptus Asteris on board, and he needs made-cap attention. Jessica, capital S, snapped. What? Adaptus Boiculus gasped. Take me at once.
That's my reaction. What?
Jessica nodded. Ivy alerted the Dark Angels. They will be here shortly to lend assistance. Good luck, Commissar Rain, Jessica said. Severina nooded. Thank you, my lady, she replied as Jessica and the Adaptus Boiculus teleported away. Inquisitor Jessica stood on the bridge as Captain Van Winter, comma, handed her a data slate. Manessa looked at it. So, can he speak? Jessica asked. Adaptus Boiculus nodded her head. Please, call me Astra, the Boiculus said. Jessica walked in. Marine, what happened? She asked. We were sent by the Blood Angels to investigate. The World Eaters ambushed us. I guess I was the only survivor, the Marine replied. My lady, Van Winter interrupted. Yes, Jessica said. Your chapter has arrived. Van Winter replied. Jessica nodded. When you're ready, I want you to show me where you found that signal, Jessica said. The Marine nodded and Jessica headed out the door. Van Winter and Jessica walked into the hangar, a chapter of Sisters of Battle in new Primaris power armor and a color scheme of black armor with a purple right arm and gold shins and helmet stood waiting. A sister stepped forward. So, you're our commander? She asked, rather smug-like with what seemed like a Irish accent. I am Inquisitor Lady Jessica. To put it bluntly, yes, I'm in charge, Jessica said as the warrior saluted. Heed my every order, and you might survive, she continued. Now, does this chapter have a name? Yes, my lady. What is it? The Doubters of the Phoenix. What?
Oh, no, Campbell.
That's the end.
Okay, wow, that sucked a lot. I like how it sort of just in the middle there just stopped being English. It was every other word was misspelled and very well written. Yeah, that's garbage fan fiction. I remember Jessica, not fondly.
You don't remember the Adaptus Boiculus?
I don't know what that is.
It's supposed to be, I think, Adaptus Biologicus or Bioloculus. It's supposed to be adaptive biology, but it's spelled usually as Adaptus Boiculus.
Well, some listeners may have heard me say ouch a couple times during that reading because my cat was trying to play with my hand.
Okay, I thought that was...
she's climbing me. Oh, God.
I thought that was a response to the fiction, but I don't think you're wrong either way. But yes, that is Warhammer 40k Inquisition, The Daughters of the Phoenix, Chapter 7 by Alex Russo 89.
These cats are worked up, my dude. It's almost dinner time, so let's get the fuck out of here.
All
okay,
right.
Let's plug some plugs. Social media, Twitter. It's the best place to find us on social media. I am at DB_Sleazy. He is at Brother SRM. You can also find Campbell on Tumblr, Cam2D. You can find us on Facebook, kind of, not me, but kind of Campbell, kind of the 40k Badcast, facebook.com/40k Badcast, but it's the Cam Hammer thing because Campbell can't change it.
There is one fucking reply guy who replies to most of my things. Great work, Dan. And I fucking hate it. And you know who you are. You know who you are.
Who is it?
They know. I don't know. It's some guy. I'm glad they like
we
the
have
show.
shirts. We have a new shirt you could buy. The 40k Badcast Horn Dogs shirt. It's on Campbell.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast. And yes, the shirt is just for you, the Horn Dogs.
Yes. And as we've discovered, the Horn Dogs is the amalgamation of both the bad boys and the fuck boys.
Yeah. The Horn Dogs, really, the Horn Dogs are the Horn Dogs who made along the way.
Yes. Also, patreon.com/40k Badcast. You can listen to our subscriber only content. It's good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah. There's 20 something episodes of it. And we're almost at 200 patrons, which is super exciting.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Almost too exciting.
Almost too exciting. So yeah, check us out there. We put out our April episode. It's just about the world right now, but keeping it positive, keeping it friendly, keeping it warm and good. But we'll have something cool for May. We don't know what it is yet, but it'll be out in May.
Oh man, May is not even far away, is it?
No, it feels...
It's a little more than a week away. Jesus.
It feels all too close and all too far at the same time.
Goonhammer.com. We both write for the website. Go there and read the articles. It's probably the best hobby writing in the world.
Yeah, and actually, Goonhammer was recently on Warhammer Community in an article on how to do charges and assault moves and so on, which was super cool to see, our friend Rob's art on Warhammer Community, and also super cool to see some really salty people in the comments being like, you showed Ultramarines being charged, but they can fall back and shoot, so your whole article is invalid. So fun, guys.
Yes. Yes.
Being exposed to the larger Warhammer community was not something I really expected, but is very cool.
The larger Warhammer community can kick fucking rocks as far as I am concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, what does concern me though is I think we're out of plugs.
We are out of plugs. So yeah, where we're at. Did we mention that you can email us at contact@40kbadcast.com for any sort of questions, comments, or insults you want to leverage our way? Please stop sending us insults.
No, but we did now. And for that, I thank you. Let's get a quote happening. We never do this. We never get a quote. We've never done it before.
Not a one time. This is all original. This is all new all the time, all novel. And here we go. Better crippled in mind. Fuck. Better.
Oh.
Way ahead of you.
Better crippled in mind. Fuck. All right, gang.
Sure.
That's it for the show today. We are the 40k Badcast. We're bad at quotes. We're real bad at quotes. We're bad at 40k, and you can too. And we will see you in the next cartoon.